All right, it's another morning cross fiber right now. It's the Fintex show right here on 99.3 Nigerian 4. And of course, once we're ready for the main conversation, of course, you hear the voice of Femi Obong-Daniels. My name is Kofi Bartels. Razak, you need to move your seat this way. I don't know why it's only one chair. Then the headset, please. I don't know. You've allowed me upstage you. This is not fair. This is like a coup in we had in Burkina Faso. I don't know, Niger. You have to get your chair back, oh. I don't understand what's going on here. Nee, good morning to you, Razak. Good morning to you, gentlemen.
Good morning. Good morning.
Can you go back to your position?
What's my offense this morning?
You have to go back to your position. I don't understand.
It's a celebration time, and don't take away the whole.
We're in a celebration mode.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. No problem. So you're okay there?
Fantastic. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm good.
Because I want to write a book on it. Corruption in judicial. Okay. It's good to have two gentlemen right here in the studio. And of course, Femi Obong-Daniels, the anchor for this program, is ensuring that everything is smoothly done on the station. We're going to be hearing his voice. But my name is Kofi Bartels. The Fintex show comes your way every single Monday. Sorry, I say weekday because I'm used to saying that, on the station. But it comes to every single Monday at this time where we talk about everything and anything that has to do with non-oil exports. And that's the intersection of financial technology and export. When you combine the two words, you get the word Fintex. Fintex, not fintech. Fintex. All right, that's Fintex. Fintex. And then you get Fintex. Once again, welcome. My name is Kofi Bartels, and I'm not alone. And with me in the studio, of course, Nee Adele. She's a non-oil export coach. Nee, once again, good morning. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, and happy holiday.
Merry Christmas.
Happy holiday.
Okay, I remember last week you told me that for you...
Let's go there. Let's just go into the show straight away.
No, I remember last week you told me we'll go there. That I think you said this is a holiday, it's not Christmas. I believe you said something like
people
that.
celebrate Christmas. I just said that it's not the birth of Christ, right?
Yeah.
So that's fine. So happy holiday. That's what it is.
Okay. So when was Christ born?
So nobody knows when Christ was born.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So you don't assume that Christ was born at so time and push it as a narrative.
All right. Razak Olabi, Merry Christmas to you. Welcome.
Every day is Christmas.
All right. You see, this is another debate. I'm now remembering that we had a little debate about. But you see, whether Christ was born on 25th December or not, the fact that Christians all over the world decide to commemorate the birth of Christ on such particular day, I think is enough to say, well, Christ was born. It's not about when he was or when he wasn't born. I will leave that for the theologians. The most important thing for me is, was Christ born? The answer is yes. No be so.
So I mean, like we do not intend to discuss religion on this program.
We're just wetting the ground while waiting for Femi. But anyway, let me not drag you into it.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is that one of the pillars of Christianity, or I think, for me, really, is the birth of Christ, and without the birth of Christ, there will be no death.
So let me address it. Let me address it.
Okay, is there something to address? No, we're just having a conversation.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I mean, you have to ask the question.
Yeah.
It's not about you and I. It's not about us. It's not about when you talk about something that is a global phenomenon, right? The what do you call it? The concept must not have two different definitions.
What concept are you talking about?
The concept of Christ's birth.
Okay.
All right, or Christmas.
How do you mean?
So you're talking Christmas and saying, it's not. You are saying that, it's not about the fact that whether Jesus Christ, whether it is his birthday or not, right? Or that it's about the significance of the fact that he was born. That's not the global acceptable meaning of Christmas.
Okay, so what is the global acceptable meaning?
That it is Christ being born on Christmas Day.
Okay.
Right?
Well, I'm saying the global does not matter. This is what I believe.
And so that's your belief.
Yeah.
It's not. You have to work with what is accepted globally. Okay. As a conversation.
Okay, so this is it. Yeah, I'm talking about what I believe. Now, the debate the debate is, is it Christmas or is it not Christmas? Now, of course, there are so many, bodies of work out there about how Christmas came about, for that Christmas. For me, I don't care about all that. What I'm saying is I think, this is what I think people should be concerned about, is that the message of the birth of the Savior of the world be carried across the length and breadth of the world. What did Jesus say? He said, take this gospel to the ends of the earth. And I believe that one of the ways of taking the gospel to the ends of the earth is to tell people that a Savior was born at a point in time. Why?
Kofi, I'm going to set up Christian radio.
Can I? No, it's general. No, let me just start. Why? We'll get into it. But why I'm saying so is that if you take away the message of the birth, then you can easily take away the message of the death, because that death is also very important. You understand? And that's why I remember even the Apostles' Creed, or let me say, you talk about, I believe in God the Father Almighty, the maker of heaven and earth, and in Jesus Christ, the only Son of the Lord, who was born of the Virgin Mary, conceived by the Holy Ghost, who was conceived by the Holy Ghost, born of the Virgin Mary.
When the radio station sets up, I'll remember you.
So what I'm saying, that birth is important. That birth is important. But I understand where you're coming from. I don't care.
The Bible, I don't care. The Christ you're talking about.
Let's get into the topic. Let's get into the topic.
Leave this thing. I beg.
All right.
I'll go in back to now for this.
I'm not interested.
So the birth is very important. Now, say Merry Christmas to you.
You're back to it again.
But your issue is that the date, we are not getting it right. Anyway, gentlemen, Ni, how are you?
I'm fine.
Fine. Razak, how are you? I need to ask.
I'm not fine.
There's something going around.
Fine.
But anyway, there's something going around, of course, which happens to be this matter of stampedes. And if you say you're not fine, I will understand. I may even begin to think, okay, probably you've seen what's happening around. You guys have heard what's, and nobody's happy, about it. I thought about it. How can we have people die in Ibadan because of Christmas, party and just giving food to people who don't have food, and then people go and die again
in Anambra.
The same way in Anambra.
Is Anambra?
Yeah, and then the same way in Abuja. I've never seen it back to back like that before.
And that's because we don't plan our event properly in this part of the world. If you're into events organization, you have to plan properly for your events, where the seats, the space, all the room, the exit and exit. You have to make sure how many people are you expecting in this hall? How many space do you need to create so that movement can be seamless? We don't take all that into cognizance. We just do events.
Sorry, while you talk about planning, the only place I see where people, all right, maybe let me say two places where you see people die because of food is if you're in an IDP camp. No, these are realities of conversations.
Okay. Refugee camp.
A refugee camp, you understand, or during time of war.
And we are in refugee.
So in a country where there's leadership, all right, I don't know how people sleep and wake up. I don't know how people sleep comfortably and wake up and say, okay, you had one soul, all right, dies because of food, ordinary food that he will still eat later on, all right? I've said it several times, we're shameless people. People in leadership have taken shame, have used it to rub their body, you understand, and they're comfortable, and there's a National Assembly, you understand, and all this, and they just close their eyes to the fact that the children are not their children. In a democracy, they claim that they're doing. Look, let's talk about what it is. You understand? It's not just about.
But we know the economy is tough. We know people are going through unprecedented.
So why should the economy be tough in a country that got blessed with crude oil?
I'm coming. But you see, the thing is whether the economy is even if the naira was still 200 to the dollar, even if what do you call it again? Petrol was still selling at the amount it was selling before when Buhari left. These things will still happen if the right things are not done. I tell you what, there's a gentleman, there's a gamer, one of these guys who plays game online, popular on, what's the name was this Switch or this whatever stage on this online streaming platforms. Anyway, he decided to call people and say wanted to distribute games somewhere, I think in Manhattan, in New York. And I think there was almost a stampede if there was no stampede, because he just called people and just started throwing games at them, I remember when, was it Donald Trump or someone was throwing things at people, giveaways, and there was a sort of a stampede. So stampedes have been there. The economy is, and I know I run the risk of sounding insensitive to the plight of people, but it's hard for me not to be factual. It's hard even at home. It's fact. But the thing is, no matter how better things would have been economically, let's say Obi or let's say Atiku or let's say Donald Duke won the election, and they said, okay, we're not taking away fuel subsidy, we'll keep it. The naira, I'm not going to float it, we'll keep it, and all the things remain the same. People will still die if the proper measures were not taken to control the crowd. And if we, the people, also don't change our way of doing things. So you are in an aeroplane. The aeroplane lands. It's only in Nigeria I see this. You know. The aeroplane lands at the airport, and the rule is that you stay seated with your seatbelt buckled until the aeroplane taxis to its final halt. The airplane can move from one place to the other, looking where to park. In this country, what do? Is people will stand up, want to rush to the front, and will be standing. So what if there's an accident? What if something happens? Those who have their seatbelt buckled will be the ones who will be saved, while those who are standing will be the ones who will lose their lives or be injured. There's a reason, But we won't. So I don't see. And now, what I realized that the Oyibos have even copied. They are now learning our lifestyle. They too, they stand. They start. The thing is, the airplane is not. One day I was in an aircraft. I think the pilot pressed the brake a bit more harder, and people started tumbling forward. So I don't know what we have a role to play.
While you say what you're saying, I'm laughing. You know why? Last night, I was watching a video on social media. So I like to watch a lot of reels, right? And I'm an aviation person, Oh yeah, because growing up, Air Force, so aviation. And there's a particular incident that happened in which year? A live incident that happened. The plane opened in
midair.
Yeah, midair.
My God.
Look, if you have seen the things that I've seen in aviation, you will not go into an aircraft. So I like to watch things.
I don't like watching those things.
Oh, come on. You will not want to.
I don't like watching those things.
The thing I saw, you understand? Oh my God. It's something that I just don't want to imagine. But our people, you take somebody in a car. So I'm a disciplinarian. I'm not afraid to say it. It's just who I am. You get into my car. The first thing I expect you to do is to fasten your seatbelt. It is a given. So when I'm about to drive, I look at you like this. Fasten your seatbelt, I'll tell you. Right? In France, if you don't fasten your seatbelt, the person that is on the other side, if I didn't fasten my seatbelt, I'll pay a fine. The person on the other side will pay a double fine.
That's the driver.
Yes. So if you're a passenger now, if you don't fasten your seatbelt and you're caught, all right, you pay double. Me that fastened, I'll pay double, because my responsibility is to tell you that, look, fasten your seatbelt. In Nigeria, do you know what people do? You carry people and they will still hold the belt. And I'm like, what kind of people are these people? Do you know what the belt does for you?
It can be a lifesaver.
It is a lifesaver. Let me finish up. There was a particular girl that used to be my friend like some 10 years ago. If you heard the story, her car fell from a bridge in Abuja. I didn't know the incident. I just knew that there was an incident. It was in the news. So I was talking to this guy. I didn't know she was the one. You understand? She told me that, do I remember so news? I said, yes. She said she was the one. That her car fell from from a bridge in Abuja. I said, what? She said, do you know what saved her? She said, what her seatbelt that saved her.
Just bringing tears to my eyes, because I remember a story of a friend who was in an accident late now, and I took him to the airport. I took him to the airport to board a flight to go for an event somewhere. And when he landed, he was going by road to the next town for that event. Had an accident. What I hear was he wasn't on his belt. And
look, let me tell you. In the US, there are car pots, there are seat pots for kids. All right, everybody must fasten their seatbelts. Whether you are sitting at the back, you are sitting at the corner, you understand? Everybody is seated with a belt because all the seats at the back have belts. So it's only here you would sit down and feel that the only person in the front is the one that uses belt. I don't know. Somebody has to deliver this country from bad behavior.
Indiscipline.
Yes,
you understand?
That's what caused the stampede.
You understand? It's bad behavior.
It's not because the economy is bad.
There was one about an aircraft that trended.
It's behavior.
About an aircraft that trended on Airpeace. You understand that people were struggling to get into an aircraft. Aircraft, you are paid. These are people that are not poor people.
Just do you know how people? Do you know how people? Sir, one of the things that surprised me right from when I was a kid is how people who are educated, well-to-do, affluent, struggle for souvenir at Owambe.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one I've never understood it.
It happens every time.
That's their institutional umbrella.
Because it's free. It's free.
Half of the things, all the things that I get, I stopped taking souvenirs. Except it's
Same
unique.
Same here.
Because we had so many flask, cup,
too
plates,
many things. Too many things.
You see somebody dressed well, will be pushing over the person.
Look,
give me.
I laughed not too long ago. Do you know what made me laugh? I looked at my younger brother's gifts. So he lives in London. When he got married, all the gifts that they gave him during the wedding.
He just starts.
So I look at those things and I'm like, and I don't even go for events. Yeah. So at times I'm like, okay, should I package this thing and probably give some people? I just see them in that place where they are, and I'm like, oh, these things are here. These plates, wanting. Those gifts and souvenirs that you give to people. Where are we taking all of these things to really? And I think it's a problem of lack. You see, because if you grow up under an environment where
it's not lack, it's the poverty of the mind. Even if you are sharing flyers, flyers, you will see the stampede flyers.
I don't want anything from anybody. You understand?
Just want
I don't want
that is free. What is free? That's what happens.
But someone say, well, if for instance, one of my guests did say that even in some stampede situation scenarios, people who are also part of those will see people down and will climb them to go and get.
Yes. Because it's free.
But is it not hunger that will make a man do that? A woman do that? Now you see your fellow man down. He's down, he's dying, people are marching, and you will not leave him, and I will not attend to you. I want to go and grab that rice.
Look, it's you see, people, I don't know, it's not, it's understanding empathy. The story of the one in Okija, not Okija, yeah, it was in Okija now, right?
Anambra, yeah.
Anambra, yeah. So I saw the video, this yesterday, was thereabout. In my head, I'm like, I don't use a foul language. I was asking myself, why was that guy recording? So look, we must understand
empathy.
You must understand what needs to be done, what not to be done. What are you recording? People have lost lives. All right.
Everybody needs responders. People come and help them.
You understand? You're not going to look for responders. It is camera to look at people that have passed on. That is of more importance to you. Empathy is gone. People do not understand that they should care about their fellow man. All right. So it's about them.
All right. Well, let's go for a break. When we come back, we'll talk some more.
All right.
You are listening to your number one station for talk.
99.3 Nigeria Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
My father taught me that there are two kinds of people. Those who try to survive.
Any platform can help you save. But when it comes to investing, you need a partner that you can trust and is committed to helping you achieve your goals. A partner with a global footprint, diversified investment options, and great returns that help you grow. You need RiseVest. RiseVest is your partner for dollar investments like U.S. stocks, U.S. real estate, fixed income, and Naira Savings Vault. Invest with RiseVest to earn interest between 8 to 15% in dollars and up to 25% in Naira. Download the RiseVest app or visit www.risevest.com to start investing. Rise. Investments that help you grow.
Stay sharp, fuel up, and make sure say you stay on top of your game. Power Horse go give you the boost where you need to conquer the day. Make sure say you no miss this unstoppable offer for Naija. You fit buy Power Horse 250 ml now for just 999 naira. But if you need to boost your ginger, you fit grab the 355 ml for only 1,299 naira. No dull yourself. Waka go the nearest store today. Make yourself power up. Power Horse, unstoppable you.
Is it okay to make fun of our tooth gap? Let's have a talk. Colgate makes your teeth so strong. Stop cover your mouth. Not to do yanga with your smile. Brush your teeth with Colgate. Zero cavities and fresh breath. If you use a Colgate paste. Not to do yanga with your smile. Brush your teeth with Colgate.
Colgate, #1 oral care brand in the world.
My dear, festive sales, rejoice and celebrate. Good times are here, bargains for everyone.
This festive season, My Dear is bringing joy to every home.
Lots of freebies, such as 100 cartons of noodles, 200 umbrellas, and 100 bags of rice to celebrate this season with your family while stock lasts.
Experience our range of products, refrigerators, freezers, cookers, inverters, and ACs with built-in AVS, Wi-Fi control with 70% energy saving.
Media.
No, it's My Dear.
Oh, My Dear.
Visit all our retail stores nationwide. Terms and conditions apply.
Good times are here, bargains for everyone.
My Dear, make yourself at home.
Okay, investment full ground, oh. Service where you feel trust, oh. It's time to live the good life, oh. Secure the bag with iInvest.
Yes, iInvest is one way to build lasting wealth. Buy Nigerian equities, get higher interest rates on fixed deposits and savings. Visit www.i-investng.com to access a wide range of other financial products that offer good returns on your investments. All transactions are done through regulated financial institutions. iInvest. Let's help you secure the bag.
Big things, Nemo like.
We know you love big things. That's why we brought back the Pepsi 60cl long throat bottle. It's big refreshment, big value, big flex, big tins. Pepsi 60cl long throat bottle is back. Big tins. Pepsi, thirsty for more.
Every person in my life deserves breakfast. Brother me deserves all the nourishment he can get. Mama Nkechi Unko, she has such a big heart. She deserves a breakfast that can nourish her. And let's not forget my little sister. This Peak Mini is just her size.
There's nourishment for you with the Peak Mini Pack. Peak. Reach for your peak.
We share love, we share joy, we come with open hearts. Oh, so celebrate, jubilate, share the plate, just follow the aroma. 'Tis the season to show some love.
Christmas don't loud again, oh! And it go loud as Union Bank they turn things up with the Save and Win Pally promo 4. Plenty better prices full ground to enjoy this season, like free fuel, cash and gift vouchers, even brand new Okada and Keke Day save. To win, save 10,000 naira or more for your Union Bank account and do at least 5 transactions monthly. To open account, visit unionbankng.com or the nearest branch today. Promo applies to new and existing customers, but terms and conditions dey sha. Union Bank, your simpler, smarter bank.
5 Alive Poppy. So much pop. So many ways to pop it. He gulps it. it.
99.3 Nigeria Info.
Your number one station for talk. Let's talk.
All right, welcome back. It's the Fintex show. Of course, we've talked about Christmas. We've talked about crowd control. Because the nation is heavy. Everyone is sad with the loss of lives. But let's go on with the show, ladies and gentlemen. Now you don't need to ask Femi Obong-Daniels why he talks about. I know you want to set me up. You don't need to ask Femi Obong-Daniels why he's always talking about funding most of the time. You don't need to ask Nee and Razak, even myself, why we talk about funding most of the time. Because funding is the lifeblood of every business, right? Funding is what most businesses have as an answer, and especially when you are in the non-oil export sector. There's a video it's trending where this guy, one of these Arab guys who is I think Uganda or Tanzania, one of these countries, talks about the things that he exports. One of the wealthiest guys in Africa. I don't know if you've seen it. He says he exports everything. Then Africa, you can get anything. He exports this, he exports that, he exports this, he exports that, he exports that. Just the raw materials, the seeds, all those, cashew and all those kind of things. It's an interesting one. But you see, funding is very important. Now, you can ask me about this one. Why you can ask us why we talk about funding? What you can ask us is the Bank of Industry, BOI, and the African Guarantee Fund, AGF, they've signed a $50 million loan. That is 75 billion naira. 75. How many refineries can that build?
I think we need to check that.
Okay. All right.
Let's check that.
Okay. So but funding is important anyway, gentlemen, right? Funding is very important. So this guy says he exports everything. He's one of the I think it's Uganda, one of these East African countries. He says he exports every single item. That's how he became wealthy. That's how he became wealthy. And he's not a black African, but he's an African because, of course, he resides in his home country. That's all he does.
There's so many things you can export from Nigeria. So many things to export from. Nigeria is blessed. We have so much. We just need to dig down and get all those things out. But like you said, without funding, all those things can be done. If you want to do it big time.
Look, let me tell you. I can tell you for free that I'm talking from experience. Coaching people, mentoring people. The major problem on this side of the world is what I call willpower. People fear a lot. People fear a lot, and I don't know why they fear a lot. Yeah, and
uncertainty.
Life itself is not even certain. And like there's a popular saying that something must surely kill a man. So why are you afraid of death when any which way you look at it, you will still die? All right. So and it's a bet. It's a bet on you staying poor, or you becoming prosperous. When I started the journey many years ago, I was burnt. I was burnt. Again, when you look at how things are as we speak, there are a lot of challenges, right? There are loads of challenges. Largely infrastructural. Largely infrastructural. And people do not have that kind of they don't have that kind of what do you call it? That kind of threshold to be able to stay. I was spoken here last week. I was saying it here last week. I think you had left. That there was a time I went to a cooperative in Kogi State. I told them I wanted to get them contracts, direct contracts for them to be able to export cashew out of the country because I found out that they were not getting wealthy. All right. So foreigners come into their city, pay for warehouses and aggregate this produce and get these things out of the country and go and process and sell to the whole world. I said, no, I wanted to bridge that gap and assist people because I believe that it's about the people. Let me help them. They said they were not interested. All right. they said they were not interested in me being able to get them contracts to be able to export directly. And I said, why? They said their people cannot wait. All right? So anybody that is controlled by the stomach, all right, anybody that is controlled by the stomach cannot taste wealth. All right? You cannot taste wealth. You get it? So when people are looking at the opportunities around export, you must be able to do the work. There's work that's required. In this part of the world, it's not because it is easy. It's not an easy thing. It's not a walk in the park. There are a lot of challenges, logistics mainly. All right? You go to the port, you go to airport, there's one problem or the other. But does that mean that you're going to stop? No, you don't stop. All right? Because anywhere that you find that things are difficult, which means that there are opportunities there. Well, we understand that those challenges are there. But when it comes to funding is there, but it's not the major problem. I was having a conversation with the head of export of one of the banks. So I told them that we have a community. I'm trying to see how I can assist them to be able to do export and all of those things, right? Now, and what he told me was most of the time, you will see people who have never done export before coming to the bank and telling the bank that the bank should come and fund their export. And the bank will never do that. All right? I talk about people getting prepared. The value chain for doing export is large. Money is on one side. In fact, it is the last thing. Everybody in this country comes from a village, right? Somewhere. In those villages, we have exportable produce. All right? I tell people that even if you want to export, you don't even have to export what you produce. You can export things that have been produced by other people. You can export those things. And they're still in demand in those foreign countries. You export them, they're warehoused, they're sold through our marketplace, and people can make money. So the question you start to ask yourselves is why are people not doing it? You understand? So people like to do the smaller things and are expecting that wealth is going to come. Wealth is never going to come, unfortunately.
Okay, so let's look at some of the highlights of the discussions we've had this year. A lot of things have been happening in the export space, and we've talked about a lot of it this year. And we've had some changes in the regulatory aspect of things. We began with me not really believing that anything good can come from government. It be the small and Smedan and the ministry and NEPC. But I think he ended up going for their webinars. So you had a change of mind, right?
No. So that's not even right to say. Right?
Okay, correct me, please.
We all owe ourselves a responsibility to ensure that this country works. All right? So you do not understand the kind of banter that I've gotten come and live in Nigeria. You don't understand it. So some people wonder what I'm doing in Nigeria. They wonder what is Niyi doing in Nigeria. I'm the only one in Nigeria in my family. Right? So what is he doing here? So I hear that question every time. So I'm a stakeholder here. I mean, let me say I'm worse off. My father doesn't live here. My father lives in America. My father doesn't want to hear Nigeria. So at times I tell my dad I miss him. You know what he tells me? He said, "You come and meet me in America. Come back to America." You don't understand? So he does not want to hear anything Nigeria. So I'm a stakeholder. I'm somebody who has lost something. Who has lost something for coming to sit in this country. So I have the responsibility to be able to call the government to do what is right for the good of other people. Right? If I'm living in the US, I'm not going to be hungry living in the US. God knows that, right?
But are you seeing improvements in the regulatory framework, government support and policies for all exports? Have you seen an improvement from the beginning of this year, what you understood, what you saw, and now the end of 2024?
The problem is that there are gaps. So NEPC still had an event 4 days ago or thereabout, this past week. So they have this re-energized event that they do. I think they've done it once every quarter in this year. So that is commendable, all right? But the problem is that they do not think things through. That is where the problem is. So when they brought people from customs, brought people from... So I was looking at that event and I was like, okay, customs was there and all of that. In all of it, all right, because I've transversed almost everywhere in this country. What I told myself was, I said, we're having this event. Oh, police is not here. Army is not here. All right. NDL is not here. All right. Do you know how long it takes NDL to go and sniff a container, to go and look at the container that's supposed to leave this country? All the problems that is created. So you're talking about export. You understand? All of those agencies must be at every event. You go to the roads, the police will stop a vehicle that is going to the port that has been inspected before and tell you what you carry. So how does NEPC do an event and not bring police to come and take account of what their people do on the road? What the people of the army do on the road? Are we turning our blind eyes to these things? Those problems will be there. So when those guys are talking about exporting from other countries and it's a lot easier for them, it's because of those bottlenecks have been eliminated. They don't put bottlenecks on the roads. This is December. I'm not out of this town. Go and imagine how many checkpoints you see from this Lagos now to Onitsha.
Plenty.
You might see as many as 300.
Yes, and you know that's like you said to Lee, as because there's no collaboration among the agencies. All the agencies of they don't collaborate. There's
no national goal.
No.
They
work in silos.
Yeah, there's no national goal. When you talk about a national goal, everybody works towards a goal as a team. It is only in private sector that I see people work as a team. We talk about team all the time in private sector. It is the heartbeat. If you see any business that is thriving,
it's the team.
You go to MTN, you go to Airtel, it is the team. It is only in government you don't hear about the team.
But the lady who is now saddled, who is now the new
NABC.
The new
minister for trade and investment.
Is a lady that was there.
Olajumoke, yeah.
Yes, was manning the presidential is of doing business council.
We spoke about that 2 weeks ago.
Yes, so 2 weeks ago, yeah.
And the previous lady it seems she also was trying her best to do one or two things. Don't you think this will, signals actually better days for trade and investment in the country?
No. So let me tell you again. Everything that grows is documented. You don't talk about growth without documents, right? And I've said it several times. If the government do not know what to do, we're consultants. We'll sit down and draft those documents. Look, let me tell you, and I think I've never said this before. The last administration, when President Buhari became the president, when he won the election, I wrote a 56-page document for his 100 day in office. It was a 56-page document on what he needed to do for his 100 days. Yes, because you see, why I'm telling you.
You certainly are not going back to the US anytime soon.
Look, let me tell you.
This guy loves Nigeria.
Look, let me tell you. We want the country to work. I'm saying this for the first time.
Yeah.
I took that document. I was looking for people that were close to Buhari. I gave one of those copies of those documents to Pastor Tunde Bakari. I will never forget. Give this to the president, you understand, as a working document for his 100 days in office. That is the contribution people like us are making into this country. So when we call anybody out, it's not because we're just criticizing. It's because we're doing things.
We want this to work.
That document is still there. If I show you that document, you wonder that you really wrote this document and sent it to the government? You understand? I say yes. But do they have the will for the people? It's a no. So if you're talking about the minister saying that, she's a new minister, where is the document you want to work with? She's become a minister, right? There must be a plan. You must bring a team together, all right, to document what we want to do. And everybody follows it like a Bible. So when you do the first thing, you understand, you tick it, all right? At the end of the day, they may eventually remove you maybe after you've executed maybe the fourth or fifth part of it. But the next person coming has a template to work with.
So there's no continuity.
That is where the problem is. It's not about our contribution, it's about talking. A lot of them talk more. The NPC, this thing, we call it, that there will be zero crude oil by coming year 2025.
Are you guys still on that?
We had that conversation here. So there are things you don't say, since you do not intend to keep. It makes you look caricature. So anybody just doesn't even take you serious. You're like, okay, she's going to make another promise again very soon. You understand? You don't make promises. You're going to be telling people, all right? It was like the guy who came from customs. The guy from the customs in this last event of 2-3 days ago. When I listened to the guy, all I was seeing in my head, I said, no. I said, no, these guys have taken us for a life for too long. You know why? You should be telling us what was happening before. And this is what is happening now. All right? This is how things were happening. You understand? Oh, we removed this bottleneck. We've been able to work with MPA.
You talked about the police. I
Yes.
think the new CP, Shola, when he assumed duty, ordered those on the Lagos-Badagry Expressway. That's the point of export. If you want to export by road to Benin Republic, to Togo, to Ghana, to La Côte d'Ivoire, to Liberia, Sierra Leone, you go through there. If you're bringing in, you go through there. He ordered that the policemen leave the road.
Okay.
Or something like that. I need to get my facts right.
Okay.
But basically, stop collecting money from people.
All right.
I think that's what we need to
So
keep
let me now answer you. No, let me now answer you.
Have you passed through? No, sorry, Kofi. Have you passed through that lately?
No, I haven't gone there for 2 years now.
Okay.
Last time I went to Badagry.
You don't know what you are missing.
No. Have you passed there?
I was there last month.
No, the CP has, I think, a month or two ago. I don't know if you went there before, after the CP read the Riot Act.
Okay, so Kofi, do you think the police and they will obey those rules?
The CP read the Riot Act. Now, what am I to?
So that's what I'm saying. It's not about the things they say.
No, it's what they do.
What are the consequences of disobedience? All right. So there are no consequences for disobedience on anything in this country.
You hit the nail on the head.
There are no consequences.
The Hillsborough tragedy, I was talking about it before the break, is what turned the crowd control measures in the Premier League around. English football.
Yeah.
It was a match in 19-something, I can't remember, between Sheffield Wednesday and Liverpool. I think 96 or 97 Liverpool fans or people died. Can't remember which. The inquiry carried on for years. It was very public. It was on TV. Everybody was asked questions. Everybody was probed. Everybody was questioned. Everyone, down to the police officers and those who were in charge and were not there, who gave orders and everything that may have affected every single person was probed. It's only recently, after how many decades, that case I think came to conclusion. Now you said people don't answer, are not made to pay for things they do against the country and against the law. These stampedes may not stop if people are not made.
Nobody's fired.
Correct.
Nobody's fired.
Yeah,
nobody loses their job.
Very soon we're going to forget it. We move on.
Yes, it's just what it is. So it's not about you saying. Governance is not about saying. Leadership is not about saying.
About doing.
All right? It's a carrot and stick approach, right? You do what is right, you're commended. You understand? You do what is wrong, the stick is wielded on you. Nobody hates you. You understand? And that's why the country is where it is, right? Now, it has become so bad that those of us who believe that things should be done properly are the ones that are seen as abnormal people.
Oh, yes.
All right? So they say you're too strict. You start saying, no, this is how things are done.
In fact, you see that proposal.
Yeah.
Sorry, sir. That proposal that you said you wanted to go ahead and say, by the time you send it to them, you are so serious.
Exactly. I sat down. I'll never forget. I sat down. I wrote about agriculture.
They'll throw it somewhere else.
Look. Let me tell you. I developed something on agriculture. All right. It was a $32.14 billion project, right? That I called the microcredit. I call it Mimap, investment for mechanized agricultural program at that time.
Wow, $32 billion.
$32 billion, all right, for the ECOWAS region.
Oh.
Right? And the whole idea, you understand, is that there are people that have land. And I was worried about urban migration. People do not need to come to the city because we have a lot of land in the villages. You can stay there and do agriculture. So I looked at all the value chain of agriculture, building of silos, and all of those things. You have land, you bring your counterpart funding. So we're supposed to get money from African Development Bank. Look, if you see what I wrote it in that document to the president.
Do you know that if you went to somebody may have said, look at what you see, it's not that serious. Take it easy.
Too much grammar.
So you start to wonder that. It's not about criticizing the government. It's about, look, government, we don't want to criticize you. Take what to work with. We understand what it means to write documents.
Is it all about government? Because we're saying there's hunger in the land.
Yes.
We're saying that the economy is hard. Now, we have arable land all over the country.
That's what I'm saying.
We have. So if government does not take your proposal, does it stop Mrs. Opoli from saying, I'm going to go back to my village or some village somewhere? Does it stop Chris from saying, you know what, let me get into agriculture? My grandfather has land somewhere. I'm going to plant it. And I'm going to bring the produce back to Lagos and I'm going to make money from it.
How do you bring those produce back to Lagos when they are bottlenecks?
Okay, the ones who don't have to eat, for instance, you plant.
How do you plant? For instance, in Kwara State, lithium was discovered, and all the farmers, the villagers, they've abandoned their farms and pursued lithium. And that
they are making more money. Is the lithium free?
Yes, no. It's because of that. The farmland have gone grey.
Look. It's about having an even economy.
There's so much land in this country.
Yes,
so much land.
Let me tell you.
If they're blocking you in Korea, you can go somewhere else.
I do procurements from China. Let me tell you something. I do procurements from China. Once you do a procurement, you see, they are so specialized that if you are telling, let's say I bought one particular thing from you, and I tell the factory that, look, factory, please, I want to buy so product, right? Recommend another company that does it. They'll tell you they don't know. They just tell me that they don't know anybody that does that thing. And you're like, so that you should go and look for them yourself. Just go and look for who does it, you understand? So everybody focuses on what they are good at.
So economics called a specialization.
Specialization, yes. That's what it is. So you as a farmer now, you just don't go, you understand, and say that, because you've found out that there's an opportunity that you're a farmer and you're a farmer for life. Let me tell you one funny thing before we go. Right? Let me tell you the funny thing. When I was looking at my father's, my father used to be in the Air Force, so I needed to look for some documents for him here, right? And the reason he gave for leaving the Air Force at that time was that he was going to go and tend his father's cocoa farm. In one of the documents before they granted his retirement from the Air Force, right?
Wow.
Yes, that he was going to go and help his father to go and tend for his cocoa farms, right? To go and take care of his cocoa farm, his own father's cocoa farm.
Was that the real reason?
So no, listen now. So which means that, I mean, he would have been lying at that age of my father. So I assume that my father's father was a wealthy man to be doing cocoa. You understand? The question is, where is that cocoa now?
All right. Same question for my grandfather's cocoa as well.
Where is our cocoa?
Any other issue? Thank you very much. Razak Lagbe, thank you very much. Next year, we hope for the best, better days as far as the non-oil export is concerned. Maybe we might not need to export oil again. And the NEPC lady will prove you wrong. I'm looking forward to it. My name is Kofi
We're all looking forward to it.
Yes, indeed. Maybe we'll find a technology that will render oil useless.
Right?
Yeah. That's the only way. That's the only way. Yeah, we gotta go. Merry Christmas, everyone.
More conversation, more talk, more right after this.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.